Welcome, everyone. We are live on this beautiful Monday. It's dark, but it's still beautiful because it is so quiet outside. And whatever light is out there is glistening because the snow is under that light, and it is absolutely beautiful to gaze upon. But that being said, discrimination is good. Oh, yes, it is. Not in the way the world promotes discrimination, but the way spirit does. To discriminate is to choose something that is appropriate for you from all other things, right? That's my definition. I haven't flipped over to the dictionary, but when we discriminate by way of the world, we judge from external appearances. And we say, ooh, you're bad. Ooh, you're this. Ooh, you're that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And that's how we are. But to actually discriminate means when you encounter someone, you should be able to discriminate between the state they're in and their spirit. So that when you encounter someone and you see their behavior, you don't take offense at their behavior, you don't get angry at their behavior, you recognize they are in a state and they must act according to the state. Period. So that discrimination begins at home, within your own self. You, I don't want to say must and need and have to. You are strongly encouraged to observe yourself so that you can see what state you are in, thereby predicting your behavior. And I told you, if you can spot your state, you can change it within moments. This is your superpower. If you start there, you can only build. It is cumulative. It means, okay, I can discern my state, I can discern the state of another. And that means, how am I acting? How will I predict my actions? I can predict their actions if I can see what state they're in. And then I now practice the ability of moving myself from an unsavory state to a more delicious state. And then I can do that. Oh, I can do that for someone else as well. If I see that they're struggling in a state, I just, I don't even have to close my eyes. I can just be like a care bear and say, oh, I raise your state to one of whatever it is. And you project it outward. Well, how would you project it outward? Well, the moment you stop to say, oh no, you're in an undesirable state. Well, you can tell by their actions, right? Their words. And it may be directed at you, but that's okay. Because you can gently whisper within yourself, it's okay. Everything is all right. I elevate you. I elevate you to a state of more love. And you walk on by, right? That's all you do. You don't have to talk to anybody and say, oh my God, I can feel your pain from over here. Please stop it. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't. Trust me. I know this. I can be unfriendly when I need to be. But what I am never is unloving. Oh, I try very hard not to be. I practice day in and day out because we can tell. That's why we discriminate, to help each other elevate our mental state. Because whatever state you're in is how you will behave. And if you can see that state from a distance, oh, I was just going to do it, but I won't. But if you can see that state from a distance, elevate it. Why? Because you've practiced doing it with yourself. That's why charity begins at home. You practice on yourself first. Practice on yourself. And the more you practice discerning, so you see the state, But then to discriminate means, you know what? That's not a very pleasant state. But who are you doing it for? Yourself, first and foremost. Always first and foremost for yourself. So you see, discrimination, according to the world, is garbage. It divides people, it fractures relationships. But discrimination, according to spirit, heals and brings people together. Oh, indeed, it does. Think about it. If you meet someone, quote unquote, who you deem to be a bigot, right? Well, they're in a state of what? Hatred. Hello, they're in a state of hatred, right? But the reason why we discriminate and not judge is because we have the same ability to fall into a state of hatred. Oh, it's easy, let me tell you. It is real easy. You meet a bigot and see how quick it is to fall into a state of hatred. See what I'm saying? This is why we don't judge. Because we all have the same capacity to fall into a state. Oh, look, she fell into a state. Oh, oops, he fell into a state. That's what we do with ourselves on a daily basis. Because if you will recognize, when we want to deliberately maintain a state, what do? We ask ourselves, well, I wonder what that would feel like. And the moment you engage your senses with what that would feel like, you are in that state. But how long can you hold that state for? See, there's the practice. There's the rub. How long can you hold it for? Well, that depends strictly on you. Does it feel good to be in that state? Oh, well, then you hold it for a little bit longer. But does that state make you angry? Notice when we get upset, oh Lord, we love to sprinkle that, don't we? Well, let me tell you what she did. Let me tell you what he did. And we can be in that state all day long. Oh, indeed we can. So that's why you discriminate. That's why you select a state. That's why you select a state. And we select a state by first recognizing what state am I presently aware that I am in? hmm Because this is the part that trips a lot of people up. Sometimes we can get up in the morning and be cranky and we don't know why. And we want to sit here and figure it out. Oh, why am I feeling like this? Who cares why you're feeling like that? Do you want to continue feeling like that? No. Well, then, what would it be like, or what would it feel like in another state? If we would simply ask that question and just answer it, don't make your answer all flowery and pretty. Don't try to be politically correct. Just be honest. Just be honest. Listen, if you can admit to yourself, let me tell you something, Linda. It feels real good to cuss a brother out. It feels good to just pop off. Well, that's 80%. You've just discovered why you like being in that state. And if you find that you're always in that state of anger and judgment, well, then you've been going there for quite some time and it is second nature to you. It is your habitual state. It's like a hit for you, gets you all. Mm. See? So, this is why we don't judge, just be honest. So that when you encounter a state, you can catch it and change the trajectory of your day. You don't have to sit there and wonder and try and figure out, oh my God, why am I like totally dragging today? Do you want to drag? That's the more important question. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to solve it. You need to pivot, change, repolarize. Indeed. Because here's the thing, if you maintain that state and sustain that state of anger and bitterness and judgment, why do I use these ones? Because it's humanity. And we are always looking for somebody to point the finger at. You did this to me. This is your fault. Oh my God. I was watching uh, Transformers. I didn't get very far in it, but you know the new one, the Beast Wars thingy with Optimus Primal and then Optimus Prime. Ah, Optimus Prime was like, "Well, this is your fault. You lost it." I was like, "Is this heifer for real?" I didn't use the word heifer, but you know what I'm saying. Just in case we have children listening, I was like, "Is he for real? He is Optimus Prime, and he is out here throwing blame." And then not only that, but Primal did the same thing, and he was like, "Oh, this is my fight. I must do it alone. This is my fault." And I thought to myself, since when does the hero behave in such a fashion? And to boot, why is it that he always gets his ass handed to him by the bad guy? Because the bad guy believes in himself more than the good guy does. Well, what's wrong with that picture? We do it as humans. How do you know we do it as humans? Because a human wrote that script. That's why. That's how humans behave. See that state of I'm not good enough? Oh my God. See that state? It's nasty. How can you look yourself in the eye with that state? Talking about, "Oh, I can't." Wait, what? I listen. That's why I didn't get very far because I got mad and I saw a common theme throughout all of those movies. Optimus always says the same thing. He was like, "Oh, you just kill me now because I've really messed up," and I'm like, that state of self pity, that state of feeling sorry for ourselves is nasty. It stinks, like literally speaking, it really does stink. Listen, we all know we have moments where we can be afraid. We all have those. But that's just your first thing. But get up and look in the mirror and ask yourself, wait a minute, who am I? Who am I? And the first thing that comes out of your mouth is I. Hmm? I. That's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Even if you say, I don't know, the first thing out of your mouth is I. The most powerful word there is. I. And then I am aware of something. What are you aware of? If you notice that you tend to wallow in self pity, oh Lord, don't ask yourself, oh my God, where did I pick that up? Please. If you stepped in poop way back there down the corner, who cares? It stinks. Get it off your shoe. Find the nearest curb and rub your foot on it. That's what you want. Not to complain that it smells bad. I digress. So learn to discriminate between what is helpful and what is harmful. If you say, I am confident, and your behavior has you cowering in the corner, something is contradictory. The action that you're doing is contradictory to who you say you are. So then your thought, your word, and your action must align. So if you are aware of cowering in the corner, then that is exactly what your thoughts will be like, your words and your actions, because that is what you are aware of. And you don't have to say what you're aware of. Observe it. Observe it. So how do you change it? You've got to become aware of something else. To become aware of something else, you ask yourself, what would that be like? Because you're seeking, just like if you say, well, I've never had turnips before. I wonder what they would taste like. Remember Neville and his oysters? He was unaware of what they tasted like. So to become aware of it, you have to test it, feel it out for yourself. So try on confidence. What does it look like, feel like, taste like, smell like? Try it on. That's how you become aware of it. So when you try it on, where do you try it on? The only place you can. Inside your imagination, inside your mind. You got to play around with it there. And so to see what you look like trying on confidence, what do you require? A mirror. Well, you got to see yourself in action. You want to see what it looks like. You want to see if that's your color. Ooh, does this pink look good on me? Does this blue look good on me? How would you know? Get in the mirror. The mirror is not just there to put on our eyelashes and edge our beards. It's there so you can see what you're doing. So when you imagine it, remember you have mirror neurons, right? Funny. I love that. How can you not love scientists? Mirror neurons. They're neurons that watch. Listen to their name, mirror. What does that tell you? We are always watching and observing ourselves. But we think it is somebody, some man with a beard and golden curls and a big stick watching us, waiting for us so he can rap us on the knuckles. That's not what it is. We are always observing ourselves. So when you watch yourself, learn to discriminate. When you say, oh, this is good. This is good. Because this totally confirms who I say I am. It's not whether the world says it's good, bad, or indifferent. Does it contradict or does it confirm or correspond to who you say you are? And then you go from there, right? Then you go from there. So today, my beautiful friends, don't get caught up in all the goings on in the world. Get caught up in, hey, what am I making my world to be? What am I making my world to be? What am I shaping and molding my world to become? That's your job. How do I know? Well, we're the same ones who say, oh my God, my life is totally like crap. So whose job is it? Yeah, but look at the state of the world. Look at the state of the union. The state, keyword, the state of the world, the state of the union is only a reflection of the state of the people's state. This is what it is. Each person is in a state. If those two states are similar, and they kind of feel the same, those people will interact. Right? Birds of a feather, yes? But if states don't match, they're not similar, they just will run parallel to one another. And you can see them pass you by, but you won't entangle. Because you've got, quote unquote, nothing in common. The only thing in common is the state. Because the state does what? The state determines the behavior. The behavior now will tell you, oh my God, we have so much in common. It's not that you and them have something in common, it's that you're in the same kind of state mentally. So you have to come together. If we start being able to see that part, we'll be able to catch ourselves and change. Ooh, that's not a state. No, no. You find yourself agreeing with somebody in a way that is, yeah, do this, riot. But whoa, 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 hold on now. What state are you in? You want to be in that state? Well, you listen. You know the outcome in that state. Somebody go catch a charge. Somebody's gonna have to get bail money. Do you want to be in that state? But if you don't know you are in a state, do you see why it's important? Do you see why noscience or ignorance? Well, noscience is the better word. To be unaware. Do you see why sometimes unawareness? You see why unawareness could be a good weapon? Oh, oh, yes. Because the person who is unaware simply follows blindly according to the state that they're in. Notice whether they are aware or unaware, they still follow the state. They still behave according to the state, whether they are aware or unaware. But when you become aware of the state, you know exactly what's going to happen to you according to that state. So it just feels like, oh my God, this is so much. But here's the thing. Here's how we make this a fun and pleasurable existence. It's a game. Can you spot the state? You know, we say, I spy with my little eye. Can you spot the state? That's the game. If you have fun with these things, you'll begin to realize that perhaps life isn't so horrible after all. Can you spot the state? Trust me, all you got to do is sit back and observe. Not just them, but you. It looks like lots of thems, but it's not. It's just one. But if we practice, can you spot the state? If we practice that, we'll save ourselves a world of unnecessary hurt, suffering, pain, you name it. We'll save ourselves a lot of that. Trust me. Well, test it for yourself and you'll see. Right? That's the whole purpose of this thing. That's exactly what it is. Can you spot the state? I bet you now, when you go out into the world today, shoot, before you leave your house, you'll be able to spot your state. Now, step one is to spot the state. Step two, you want to be in it or you want to elevate? Oh, if you want to elevate, how do you elevate? Ask yourself, let me try it on. Where are you going to try it on? Only place you can, in your mind's eye. Oh, how would that feel? How would that feel? If I put confidence on, if I put boldness on, if I put whatever it is you want to put on, if you put it on, you say, oh, well, this feels nice. How long can I keep this on? Because I look good in it. I feel good in this. How long can I put this on for? Oh, this is nice. Well, keep it on as long as you can. Why? Because you know the longer you maintain or sustain a particular state, you will do what? Encounter corresponding states. Well, there's that fancy word, corresponding. As above, so below. As within, so without. They're both the same thing, by the way, but you differentiate sometimes. So you see, here's the game. Can you spot the state? Can you elevate the state? Oh, yes. That's the pleasure part right there. Think about it and test it for yourself. Do you know what? Listen, this is why sometimes I totally wish we could see for ourselves what we were doing. Not just, you know how you try it on in your imagination, in your mind's eye, and you're like, oh my God. But if we could see it with our physical eyes, I think if we could see it with our physical eyes, I'm not just talking about behavior, because we can see that with our physical eye. But if we could see ourselves trying it on, if we could see the effects of that, we would remain persistent. Or we would change, depending on what you observe. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a bubble almost. You're walking around and you're inside this bubble, which is your state. I wish we could see that bubble and how it moves with us and bends with us, right? I totally wish we could see that state. But it's not a bubble where like you blow bubbles. No, it's a bubble. Some people want to call it the auric field then. That's what I guess you would call it, because it fits you like a glove. It fits you. And that's why when you move, it moves because you're wearing it. Right? So I suppose that's what people, I guess, will call your aura. That color. Some people say, "Oh, I can see your aura." I'm like, you know what? You can see my state, but we'll leave it at that. I won't split hairs. That's why we discriminate. To recognize if the state that we are in is helpful. So does it confirm who you say you are? Or does it contradict who you say you want to be? Remember, the state that you are aware of is always going to dictate the actions that you do. So if in your mind you say, "Oh my God, I so wish I was," it doesn't matter what you wish for. What are you aware of being? The thing that you are aware of is what you will do and be. So if you want to change, you got to become aware of something else. Or else you will sit there. But I said I wanted to be this. I know you said you wanted to be it, but your behavior says something else. So your behavior is showing you what you are aware of about yourself. So you see the I is aware of something. Then that's what you are. Oh, but I want to be that instead. Well, then what would it be like? Try it on. Taste it. What would it be like? Become aware of it. That's what you're doing when you ask, what would it be like if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be? You're asking yourself to test what that awareness feels like to you. Because now the thing that you become aware of, the more you become aware of it, now you are becoming it because it has your full attention. That's how we change. Anywho, don't let me prattle on. Practice discrimination, spirit wise, not human wise. Oh my God, you're a different culture from me. You don't do things the way I do things. See that kind of discrimination? That'll divide a room in many, many factions, won't it? But true discrimination is what I am aware of. Does it match what I say I want to become? That is how we discriminate. That is how we discriminate. So when the scripture tells you man looks at the exterior, but God looks at the heart, what do you think the heart is? That's your state, what you are aware of being. Man sees the outside because he thinks the outside is there by happenstance. But quote unquote, God sees the heart because God knows out of the abundance of the heart. What you are aware of is what you speak, it's how you behave. So God is looking at, ooh, who does this person say they are? The heart of the matter. Oh, if you hear that again, the heart of the matter. Our bodies are matter. We have a heart in it, which is matter. the heart of matter, the awareness of matter. What is matter aware of being? What are you aware of being? So, this is why and how we discriminate for the betterment of humanity versus being divisive. Don't get caught up in that nonsense. There may be many faces, many races, but there's only one thing, one awareness, one I. Listen, sometimes I know it can be difficult to grasp, to recognize that, yeah, but look at all the violence. I know. It's just a state, though. It's just a state. You know, when somebody says they woke up and they chose violence, they put on the state of violence. So pay attention to your state, because when you do that, is it a state of worry? Is it a state of fretting? What is your state? Learn to discriminate. Shoot, is that a bar? Sorry. Anyhow, let us take a brief moment to welcome everyone into the space this morning, because you know I love to see you. V224, darling, I see you. It's been a while, darling. Shea butter. At least I think it is, because now there's 3 shades I'm looking at. And then let's go. I see you here on Twitter. Listen, you know I love seeing you all. I sure do. YouTube and Facebook, who's here? Rone, darling. The better man. Sun, Shea butter. Cyber, Anon. I see you. I see you all. Yes. Thank you for being here and making yourselves known in the chat, those who have called. Fanbase, who's in the house this morning? Happy is here. Fawn, ZZ, Afternoon Delight, Joaquin, Miss Boricua, Mansa, Flo Smiles. I am. I see you all here this morning. Listen, practice discrimination and practice it with boldness. See, now, if you're just walking in on that, if you're just walking in on that sentence, it could be a little shocking. Wait, what? What is she saying? I got to practice discrimination. Yes. Practice self discrimination, meaning begin to recognize the mental state that you occupy. Begin to recognize the mental cloak that you are wearing. Helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, huh? The belt of truth, is that what it is? What state are you wearing? Is it the state you want to wear? Well, that depends on you. You like that, the way it makes you feel, the way it makes you look? Not based upon somebody else's opinion, but yours. If you like the way you look in lime green, honey, wear it. If you like the way you look in that orange of that H2 pencil, wear it with pride, honey. Tesla has a color. And I said, you couldn't, I ain't paying you for that color, child. No, not my money. But I digress. The point of the matter is, you have to know what looks and feels good on you, because that's the state you have embodied. So that's why you discriminate. And when you move this way and that, and you go, this used to fit me so good, but it's time for something new. So how do we embody a new state? By trying it on. And how do you try it on? We usually try these things on, sure, but you want to see what you look like. So you get in the mirror. You employ your imagination, your mirror neurons. Begin to see yourself as the new state. You try it on. Does it feel good to you? Oh, does it elevate you or does it continually drag you down? Well, you won't know till you try it on. And once you try it on, then you can decide, I'll buy it. Or this one isn't for me. And you try something else on. So you see, that is how we discriminate. So if you get up in the morning and you feel a little bit, comme ci, comme ça, it doesn't matter. Just examine the state. Just examine the state. Discriminate if it is good. Do you like the way it looks and feels on you when you embody it? And if it does not, select another state. See? It is simple. It just requires that you practice. And that's it. It just requires that you practice. Right? Practice. Because it is in the practice where we excel. And you, listen, you will change your life. And then you will not need Dr. Joe Dispenza to come along and tell you to break the habit of being you, you got to start becoming aware of thinking differently and change your whole neurological patterns. You won't need him to tell you that. Do you know why you won't need him to tell you that? Because you know as above, so below. That's what you'll know. Why? Because you implement it every day. And so you'll know the more faithful you become to wearing that new state and embodying that new state, well, then you become it. But you don't just become it externally, you have become it internally, and the external follows suit. You hear the word? It follows suit. Automatically, when you hear the word suit, you think of either double breasted, right? Or a London fog suit. Well, it's something you wear, is it not? So it follows suit. It follows what you are wearing internally so you can see how you are clothed externally by your behavior. So the next time you say it follows suit, or if you are Barbadian and you say follow pattern, you're following. Your external is following your internal pattern, your internal suit. Always. And when you begin to discriminate, you will find that you are living your life from the inside out deliberately. You will no longer be tossed to and fro by the whims of other people and their moods and their opinions. No, because now you will captain and pilot your own device. Your own avatar, I should say. You will be the one doing it. You'll be manning your own ship. Sovereign, dare I say. But that takes practice. A beautiful person said to me, it's so much work. It's so much work to live your life deliberately. And I was like, honey, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'll put that work in. You know why you put that work in? Because then it's you. But you know why we say it's so much work? Because listen, it is easier to be told what to do. It is. It is. Look at children. What's the first thing they say? I can't wait till I become a grown up. Why? So they want to do what they want to do. But then when they become grown up, what's the first thing they say? Oh my God, I wish I was a kid again. Look at all these responsibilities. Oh, humanity. Oh, humanity. First, we want to do our own thing. But then we say in the same breath, but doing your own thing and being discerning and deliberate is so hard. Can't somebody just tell me what to do? Which one do you want? Because you can only have one of those things. Can't serve two masters. Either you be the master or you be the slave. To be the master means observe the state. Oh, yes. You observe the state and then decide, discriminate whether it's good for you or not. As opposed to, here's the state I want you to be in. Be in this state or else. Huh. You notice how that usually happens with slaves? You hear the or else. But as master, you already know the or else. Why do you know the or else? Because you know what the other state holds. And because you know what the other state holds, you're not afraid of it. You already know, you know what? Because you can do what? Discriminate, discern. You can say, that, no, that's okay. I'll stay in this one. Or I'll swap it out. But the person who does not know the state fears. This is why they have to hear or else. Because the person who chose their state knows what that state holds. But the person who does not know is blind. Thus, you have to say to them, or else. So which state do you want to embody? Anywho, don't let me keep y'all. Practice for the love of self and all things. Practice playing the game of discrimination. Can you spot the state? You see, remember that scripture with you are looking at a speck of dust in somebody's eye and you can't see the plank in your own? That's why you should learn to discriminate what state you embody. Oh, but of course, it's the plank in your own eye. You see why we don't judge? More and more it'll make sense to you. But the more you practice, can you spot the state? Elevate the state. You will recognize that your life is changing. You will recognize it. You understand? You see, this is why, allegedly, lottery winners go broke in like 3 to 5 years. Why? Because they still embody a state of poverty. It doesn't matter what you give a state of poverty. It must always act according to the state of poverty. So the behavior will always be impoverished. But if you change your state from poverty to wealth, we're talking financial, because there's poverty in many areas. But if you change your state, your mental state from impoverished to abundant, what would it feel like to be abundant? Try that on. And wear it as long as you can throughout the day. How many times can you put it on? And how long can you keep it on? Right? And you will find, as above, so below. As within, so without. Above is within. Below is without. They are the same, right? When you start to see that part, you will recognize you are changing. And then you will stop saying things like, give me a sign, Lord. Because you'll know that the sign is the evidence of your changed or remained in state. Anywho, let me stop there. Let me stop there. Let me get the bowl. And as you hear the bowl this morning, I don't know if you'll get bird song yet because it's dark where he is in the closet. So he might still be asleep. When you hear the bowl this morning, see if you can recognize the state you're presently in. And if you can recognize it, discriminate. Is it good? You like it? You like the way it fits? You like the way it feels? You like the way it makes you smell? Oh, does it? Well, only you know. So if it does, hold it and sustain it for the duration of the bowl. But if it does not feel good and fit good and smell good, ask yourself, what would the better state, what would that one feel like to me? Let me try on that state and try that state on and sustain it for the duration of the bowl. And you will have changed your state or maintained your state, depending on where you're starting from. And you'll also begin to recognize that as you go through the day and you play the game, you're going to enjoy the game of can you spot the state? Or yes, you will. And it feels good. It will feel incredibly beautiful to you, and you will be encouraged to persist. As you watch yourself change, you become aroused with your beautiful change, and you say, yes, this feels good. I love it. And you will persist in it. And you will watch yourself change, and you will fall in love with who you say you want to become. And then you will watch your life transform itself to match the new state that you have embodied. And you will do so with a mind of satisfaction, a mind of ease. That's how you'll do it. You will do it with peace and excitement of, oh my goodness, I am changing my life and I love it. It is beautiful. That is your new outlook. And you will walk in it in boldness. Let's get the bowl, shall we, darling? Let's get the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Shay. V224, thank you for being here on Twitter today, and I will see you tonight. I will see you tonight. 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the lecture. Much love to you, Twitter. Twitter is closed. Let's get that water queued up. Can't play it yet. YouTube, Facebook, thank you all for being here. Ronay, the better man, Sun, Shea Butter, Cyber, Anot. Thank you all for being here. And you know I look forward to seeing you tonight for the lecture. Much love to you all.